stand. Prayer.
Yeah. Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day. We thank you for the opportunity to gather and work for the betterment of our county. We just ask that you bless our deliberations with wisdom and guidance, and we'll be quick to give you praise. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or deletions for the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt as presented.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Cap, second by Brian. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Agenda adopted. The previous minutes, have all of you had a chance to look at those and feel okay about?
I move that we approve.
Motion by Ricky to approve the previous minutes. Second by Jeremy. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Minutes approved. All right. Public comments. Anyone from the public have anything they'd like to say at this time?
If this is appropriate for me to speak, I would love to speak for just a moment.
Well, we can do 3 or 4 minutes.
That's 2 or 3 minutes more than that. So I'm going to come right here, and before I have a chance, I'll read one of these with each of you and just ask you to pass them around. My name is Jim Norton. I'm from Fort St. Joe, which isn't too far from here. My background is I was born there. I was raised there, and much like Holmes County, Gulf County is a small place. The 2nd Congressional District is a small district, or it's a large territory district. It covers a lot of small towns, just like we're from. For the previous 15 years, I'm still the superintendent of schools down there. Buddy Brown here is my colleague. We're all part of the PACE Consortium, Panhandle Area Education Consortium, which is headquartered right here in neighboring Washington County. And we kind of come together. It's our cooperative. My background, I am a lawyer, and I was a trust banker for the better part of 12 years. I worked for a member of Congress about 25 years ago, and I'm kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none, which qualifies me to run for Congress. So, but the greatest things that I believe that I bring to the table, people say, why are you running? I hope that I'm running because I have the same ideals and expectations of our government that you have, that our government should be about representing us. It should be here for us. I mean, just like the founding fathers intended for it to be, and not the other way around. And the one thing I get to pledge to you is, if I become your member of Congress, and I'm running for Neil Dunn's being retired from vacated seat, if I get to become your member, I will be accessible. Not only will I be accessible, but I will be responsive. And I'm too old of a dog to learn new tricks. I love here. I love home. And I know when the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence long ago that helped create this country, they did so, they knew that they may risk everything. I don't want to lose everything I have. I have a nice feathered nest, a good lifestyle. I love my wife. I have 2 young sons. They're in the 6th and 7th grade. I don't have all the plans figured out. I just know that there's risk on my part by holding myself out there. And I have to get before as many people like yourselves, because this is just like my community. It's just like Wakulla County. It's just like Taylor County. All those counties that comprise the 2nd Congressional District, they have little incubators. They have rooms just like this with people that love and care and dedicate themselves to seeing what they can do to help grow and better their community. As I wrap up, I get to say this. I grew up in Port St. Joe. My daddy worked for the paper company there. He was a manager. I watched him at 63 years old be fired into retirement. And by the end, he said, you know what, I lived a good life. It just wasn't everything timed out to be what I wanted to be. Those are the reasons I want to run. I'm dedicated to it, I'm passionate about it. My family, my great-grandparents, 2 sets of them are buried right here in Holmes County. And some of you know Ken Yates. Ken, my grandmother was a Yates. Ken was a cousin and a longtime principal here. But I've got connections to this world, and it is really that simple. And that's what anybody that runs for higher political office, I think that you've got to look at what their motives are and what they're willing to offer to bring to the table to you. That's what I'm willing to do. My phone number is going to be very shared. And I think if there's any questions as I close, just please don't hesitate asking, because I think I'm fairly well versed in a lot of topics. Thank you for letting me be here today.
Thank you very much for coming. Anyone have any questions right quick? Mr. Norton?
Well, that was the easiest set of questions. Well, thank y'all so much. We're going to get out of you all's hair, and we have a lunch meeting here in town, and thank y'all so much. I'll see you soon. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Anyone else from the public? Hearing none, we'll move forward with our meeting. Agenda items from Why I Compete. Mr. Scott Reed, you have comments or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm also running for Congress. No, I want to come today because I heard something the other day about possibly this place being discussed for being for sale, the whole school as one unit. So when I found out about this, I went and done some digging on my own, and I'm just here to relay what I found out about all that was going on, and hope that after y'all kind of hear what I got to say, y'all can make the best decision for the residents of Holmes County. Not only does this affect me, it also affects all the residents here. So, to my understanding, this property was going to be purchased by Grace Fellowship Christian Church, or for the school that they are wanting to expand. Good for them for wanting to expand. I got nothing against, let me just say this right, I got nothing against that church. I got nothing against anybody that goes to that church. I got great members at my gym that go to that church. Nothing against them or anything at all. But the problem that I had with it is that, one, to my understanding, this place was sold to the Holmes County Development Committee from the Holmes County School Board for kind of pennies on the dollar, so that we could turn it in, or y'all could turn it into Midtown Plaza. Which, to my understanding, at the beginning of it, what Midtown Plaza was supposed to be, possibly maybe Harry Bell, Brian Bell, those offices coming over here, renovate majority or all of these buildings, possibly even the gym, and have more businesses come over here besides the 3 or 4 businesses that already resides here. That is an awesome idea. I was all on board with it. And then I heard that it possibly that somebody, had come interested in buying it. Well, the problem with buying it is I also heard that the Grace Fellowship Christian Academy has anywhere, I've heard from 20 to 80 students. Good for them. The problem is, if those 20 or 80 students come here, that school, to my knowledge, is not accredited. So, and some of the teachers are not, some of the teachers, or most of the teachers are not certified. And so that means that they have to go up under an umbrella, and I could be wrong about this part, but I was told that the degrees that they hand out or whatever is not the same diploma, or degrees, the diploma they hand out is not the same diploma as like an accredited diploma that you would get from an accredited school. Well, one of the ways you can become accredited is if you reside in the state of Florida, is if you buy up an old school and they fix this place up and they start residing here along with getting their teachers certified. Well, the proposal from them, what I heard, was 150 to 200 students. Well, if they get 150 to 200 students from Holmes County itself, and 150 to 200 students, you can get up to anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 per student, and now that they're accredited, there will be access to not only state, federal, but also federal funds to get up to $10,000 per kid. So if you've got 150 kids, you do the math, that's $1.5 million. Well, the problem I have with that, and the other people of Holmes County is going to have a problem with that, is the fact that we just raised the property taxes to get another $1 million or $1.5 million. So basically, if that happens and they reach their full potential here, we basically raise the property taxes for nothing, and we're also now going to have to take away from the public schools that we've got now. This, in my understanding, this property, even though it's owned by the Holmes County Development Committee, y'all pay taxes on this property. If they buy this, it's going to become a nonprofit. If it's a nonprofit, they're not obligated to pay taxes on that, so we lose money that way too. So basically what I'm saying is not only for personal, me personally, I've been told I have a lease here, and I've been told that the lease will be honored. Well, that's great, but what about when the lease is up? So the other thing about that is, like I said, nothing against anybody, it doesn't matter what affiliation, ball, or anything, but having businesses set inside of a Christian school is not really a good mixture. Because it does not matter what faith you are, or if a different entity or different church bought a school, there's going to be people that's going to be against that or not for it. And if they are against it and not for it, that can hurt the businesses that are already here, especially mine, because like some of the other businesses that are here, people work there. This is just where they work. Mine is voluntary only. So I get business by people who want to come. And if people don't want to be associated with whoever buys it, besides the Holmes County Development Committee owning it, then that's going to cause me also personally to lose business. And then outside of the taxpayers, if everything goes through, is going to lose money as well. So I found out all this from making multiple phone calls to people. I don't know how much of y'all already know what I just said. I'm basing it off of the people, I talked to somebody in the school board, and I talked to other people to find out this information. So if it's not correct, it's not coming from me, I'm just regurgitating what they said. So, in my opinion, this would be detrimental to not only the businesses and the vision that y'all had to start with, which is an absolutely great vision to make this a midtown class and build it up and make it central of Bonifay, but it's also going to be detrimental to the pocketbooks of the people of Holmes County. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Any questions for Mr. Scott?
No, I mean, it's not a question for him. I guess this was discussed last month when I wasn't here. Did you guys catch me up on that? I'm not sure exactly what that discussion is.
Just had some questions if we were interested in possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, the board, because just somebody had asked, were we interested in selling, and if so,
So it wasn't an actual formal proposal
no,
and all this.
and no proposal made.
Okay, well, my personal opinion on it would be, this is nothing against.
All right.
There was a motion made and seconded and passed to table it, so it would not be addressed again if somebody does not make a motion to take it off the table
Right.
and give a second.
And no proposal was made.
I make the proposal to talk about it, because I mean, I personally would like to know more about it or something like that, because my thinking is what we're here to do is create jobs for the community.
Mr.
$145,800 a year as it is right now.
Right. So, I don't know what kind of offer they would even entertain, but we would be giving up that $145,000 a year as well as kind of defeating the purpose of creating jobs and, bringing business to Bonneville. Like, I thought that was kind of our, what we do is try to help people bring jobs to the community, bring business to people. That's just my thoughts on it.
I have one thought
Is your client involved in buying it?
I
Has
don't.
that been a
They
violation
are
if
not
you're
my
discussing?
client.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
you should refrain from even discussing it. If your client is involved in purchasing school,
They make
that's
the
an
First
ethical
Federal
violation.
Bank, they don't hang with me, go ask them. So, all I'm saying is, we have liability insurance on the building. It's nothing to do with who's buying it. I think if you're gonna sell it, you should advertise it. But that's my opinion, and let people bid on it.
And they make it bid,
However,
right?
can I please speak? I did raise my hand, thank you. We have just liability insurance on the building. Do we have any kind of fire insurance? Do we have any kind of hazard insurance? If a hurricane were to come in and destroy the building, are we covered in any way?
No.
So what are we gonna do then? We are not in the business for real estate. That's the only point, Jeremy, I was making. We're not in the business of real estate. We're in the business of bringing jobs to Holmes County. And I think you're leaving. I don't think anybody else on this board, maybe Ricky, is even qualified to be leasing, know anything about leasing out real estate. Maybe Ricky is, but I'm just saying that, I'm not saying we've gotta sell to those people. I'm just saying that, I think it's a big liability for us to continue to lease this out and own this building when you're leaving, and we don't even know, who's gonna be taking your place or how it's gonna affect us, because we're all volunteers. We're not paid here. It's all I'm saying. And if we don't have insurance on it, if we have another hurricane, that's why the gym is destroyed. We didn't have the money to fix it.
Yeah, we bought it, it was destroyed. Hurricane Michael, actually, the school had insurance on it, but they took the money that they got for that and used it over at the district office.
So I'm just thinking that we need to really think about this with Joe leaving. Who's gonna take care of that? And from what I saw in the application, I didn't see that was a part of that application. I don't know where Ben is, but.
But we could put it in there, correct?
We could put it in there. Ben's not here, he had an emergency medical appointment that he could only get last minute, and he's sorry he couldn't be here, but
I thought I saw in there, I did see a reference to possible leaseman. I know it was in that, it wasn't an actual stipulated.
I couldn't hand out a copy. I know that we sent it out, and I thought maybe, you may not have made a copy of it, or, what I'm handing out is, an email from Ben that's on the last page. That was when he found out that he wasn't gonna be able to make it today. This is a copy of the draft, position description, and maybe application, so that when you're looking at it, you can verify what's in it and what's not in it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to tell the school building's not for sale.
Have a motion on the floor to say,
Tell the school we're not interested.
tell the school that, development of this property is not for sale.
I'll second.
Motion by Jeremy, second by Ryan.
Can we have some discussion?
Yes, sir.
I think Scott made some very, very important points in what he said. My wife teaches school, Jeremy's wife teaches school, your wife teaches school.
Here,
I got a niece back there that teaches school. The teacher didn't get a raise this past year. And if you cut really, if you cut $500,000 out of their FTE, What'd you say FTE is for state now?
I don't,
dollars per student.
8,000?
That's the low end, 8,000 per student per hour.
After 20 years, when I retired from the board in 2010, I think it was 3,200 per student. But that's a big number, like he said, do the math. And I just don't believe that we need to do that. And when I think we need to go back at what our original intent was when we bought the buildings. Pros, why complete, Lewis Magnus. You know, we have a lot of businesses here. And I think it's against, I think Mr. Wilson brought up at last meeting during his public comments and talked about an incubator, a business incubator, and I think that's what we had talked about back at the time we decided to buy the building.
I'm sorry, I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
That I forgot.
You finished, Ricky?
I talked to, when I was talking to somebody from the school board, they also told me, I can't remember the exact number, I think it was like 150 or 200,000. But if they lost that amount of money, they were gonna have to lay off like anywhere from 20 to 40.
They're cutting it very close.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
And I have several kids that go through this school. I want it to be clear that I would never do anything to harm Holmes County. I do think our taxes are way too high already. I don't think they can go up very much. We're at the top end of what they can raise them. But, I understand what you're saying, but I was looking out for the Development Commission, and I want that to be clear, because I don't think that we can sustain with the expenses that we have on the place, because you're making 150 something thousand, but I'm sure that we're paying quite a bit of expense on the building as well.
Have you ever looked into addressing those insurance issues and liability issues?
When we first got here, we looked at getting property insurance, and it was just, for as many buildings as we have, it was gonna be so expensive that we just dropped it right in. So we went, like those pine trees that were there that could, if the storm came, could come against the building.
Mitigate.
Yeah, we tried to do that. We mitigated any risk, taking other trees down. These buildings are, I would almost say are hurricane proof. Every 16 feet you're poured concrete. It's concrete on the floor, concrete between the first and second floor, and concrete above the second floor. But still, yeah, I can get quotes on getting property insurance here, but it was a really high number.
What about the roof and the places that are leaking?
Well, like the gym on top of the hill, we know it's a total loss on the roof. We've got some other interest in just the gym alone, and they've actually had engineers up there in the last 2 weeks looking and getting prices on doing the roof. We had another business that was looking. They've gone cold for probably another 12 months, but they would like to go up there. But again, it's going to cost us $200,000 or $300,000 for that roof. But I can sure get quotes on the insurance for this place. But it's built. It's as solid a building as you'll find. Buildings.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think you could insure that building in the condition it's in.
Yeah.
I don't think you could insure this building as old as it is with the wiring and stuff. I mean, do you think, I don't know, I mean, it's been here.
I think you could probably get it. You might have to go.
We're getting off.
Yeah, I guess, here.
I got,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just got one more thing there. Ma'am, according to your point, you're talking about the liability that you may have here, and that if a hurricane comes through and all this stuff. Essentially, the liability of the actual building, if something happened and something happened to somebody, that's gonna fall on the business owner and not y'all anyway. But as far as the building coming through and someone destroying it like a hurricane or anything like that, from a business standpoint, you paid $350,000 for it, to my knowledge. This building is free and clear paid for, so even if it come through and it got wiped out, the property that you're sitting on will be worth more than $350,000. So even if you sold the property with the destructive buildings on it, you would still come out making more money than rebuilding itself right then. So I don't quite understand the argument of getting rid of it for that reason.
And we do carry general liability on the premises.
We do.
So,
Okay, we kind of getting off course of what the motion is, so if you will, let's direct back to, the motion was to tell the school that the place is not for sale. Is that what it was here?
Yes.
And seconded by Ricky,
Right.
Brian. Okay, so any other discussion on that part of what we're talking about? If none, I'll entertain a vote. All in favor of saying the building is not for sale to the school, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carried. They will be notified that the building is not for sale for school. Okay? All right. Financial report, Executive Director.
Okay, I would just like to say it was $300,000, and me and Russ Cole walked this whole place out, and it was kind of an uphill battle to get us to buy this, but everybody can see what a deal this was. So,
Absolutely.
happy to hear that we're there now. All right, we will turn the page.
No, just like,
Go ahead.
All right. Turn to page 5, our checking account, the beginning balance was $19,068.15. Total deposits and credits were $125,229.88. You can look down, you can see, most all of it is rent with the exception of, we moved $100,000 from our investment account into our checking account, which we'll see that in the investment account in a minute. And then you can see down at the bottom that we made a principal-only payment on our region's commercial loan. And that left us a principal balance after we paid that of $519,000. So we went from $1,240,000 down to $519,000 in just a few years. So we're working good on that. If you look down, if there's any questions about the deposits, I'll be happy to answer them. Sometimes you'll see like 2 from Weather King. It's a timing of how it comes in the mail, but as soon as we get it, we put it in the bank. So that's our deposits and credits. Withdrawals were $104,318.60, and our Visa payment was $2,036.41. And then there's a breakdown on that on page 9. If you want to take a look at that and see if there's any questions about anything there. I think the largest charge was for the FPL symposium, and it was worth every dime that wasn't signed up. It's very good.
So how many people went from here to that?
There's only 2 from here went, but I was gonna put it in my report. We had 2 county commissioners that went, and I think they learned a lot, and if we could get them more educated on what we do and what we want them to help us do, we'll all be better. So exactly on that. If no questions on that, then the rest of the withdrawals was, those next 4 payments was the FPL for our electricity, and we collect, a lot of that back from our tenants. And then the bottom one was the principal payment where we did a EFT from our checking account to pay off the principal on our region's commercial loan. That would leave us an ending balance. Well, no, then we had the checks. The checks we had the analysis fee of $65, and then the checks were $12,159.50. There's a reconciliation of everything on page 7, and that's a QuickBooks reconciliation. I think we've asked for it before, and I found a way to do it. And it's you can make sure that your balance to the bank and your QuickBooks with just one sheet. And we used to do that the first day of the month as soon as we were able to get our bank statement. The only thing, we had one check that was written for some sod that went up at the pros, $520. It didn't clear the bank. It was on, February 27th, but you can look and see. That one page is our financial business for the month. And that left us an ending balance of $27,754.93. And if you'll turn over to page 11, you'll see that our investment portfolio beginning balance was $1,238,136.78. Fees for the month were $511.96. We transferred out of that account into our checking account $100,000, which left us an ending balance of $1,161,642.74, and that was up by $24,017.92. That was what we made for the month of February from our investment account. So our year to date is $46,054.40. So we've only had 1 month in the negative this year. Every month's been a positive, and that number is about what we made last year. So we're doing better. And that's all I have for the investment report. Jim?
Any questions?
Joe, can I go back to the credit card?
Sure. Okay,
Okay, on the,
page 9.
the third item from the bottom on the NA supplies.
Yep.
Okay, I'm assuming, is that the tobacco we're buying for them?
Well, it could be on that one. They only get it maybe once every month or once every other month. I can go and get the invoice for it. We normally buy sodas and tobacco, one tub of tobacco that will last them close to a month.
Okay, my question on this, and I know y'all don't want to hear this out of me again because I'm nitpicky, but I have a question. Do y'all really feel like that it's legal for us to spend taxpayers' money for tobacco for the inmates?
Well, if you,
I know we voted on this, and I know we voted to continue to do it.
is this taxpayer money?
To me it is.
How is that?
How do we fund it?
We're not funded by any taxpayer money.
You know, something that to think about is just a thought I have, is just getting the prisoners to do a lot of the work.
Absolutely.
Could we even get permit to somebody outside, could they even get a permit to do some of the work that you're doing based on it? Yeah.
Well, again, if y'all don't want us to do this,
We already
back to-
voted to do
I know, but I'm pretty sure we're losing our inmate detail after this month. The guy that's running it, he's just had enough. And so
Well,
that's
and
the
Joe,
sheriff.
let me correct you on something. You made a statement on last meeting.
Okay,
You told me that I had talked to Tim Howard and I had talked to the sheriff.
right.
I had talked to neither one of them, and I called John Taylor at the meeting and I asked him, I said, have I ever discussed this with you? No. I said, well, Joe informed me at the meeting that I was gonna be the reason for us losing our workmate crew.
And I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
But here's what I will say is Officer Howard said, because I asked him after the meeting because it came into question, and he said, the sheriff talked to you, and then, this is not recent, this was back, and then the sheriff said for him to call you, and he did. So you're saying that didn't happen?
I don't remember talking to him, now, I'll be honest, because like I said the whole time,
Well-
I'm not saying I didn't, because my memory sometimes is not
Yeah.
good, but I never went to John Tate about this. I never discussed it with John Tate.
Well, see, it doesn't matter to me either way, it just doesn't matter because the board has said I can give them the tobacco and I'll do it until I say I can. But I'm just telling you what Tim and the sheriff has said.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna still stand alone on this, and that's okay, but I think we're doing wrong there, and I don't believe it can be said by any legal person that we're legally buying that tobacco for the inmates. I
Okay.
just do not see, of course, that's my own thinking.
Ms. Beauty, so noted that you're not for buying the tobacco. Appreciate your opinion as much as anybody else's opinion, but we have voted on it, the full board has voted on it, and the board has approved it, whether, I mean, I'm not checked on the legal entity of it, and we do not use taxpayer money to buy that, so, you know.
Well, have we thought about checking into it to see if we're legal?
Well, no, not really, because, I'm sorry, we hadn't checked into it because, you know, we're not using taxpayer money, we're using money that the board has created on their own by buying, selling, and that kind of thing. And the board approved the purchase, so, and we're not giving it to the inmates. We do not give it to the
I know
inmates.
we don't give it to the inmates, but in reality, we do give it.
But anyway, we've been over it, and been over it, and, you know, the board has approved it, so I think it's pretty much a settled deal. And, you know, your opinion is just as valuable as anybody else's, and we appreciate it, but, you know.
Well, and I thank you for that, and I would like to say to this board, if you have anything you have strong feelings about, I urge you to confront the board if you feel like something's not right, because that's what we were put on this board
That's
for.
right,
Or some feelings, I won't say your feelings, but there were feelings about it. And I'm still working on it, but I still say that, the thing on the tobacco, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and, I'll always say that, you know, you're like me, you're 1 of 12, and that's the way I am. I got my opinion, you got yours.
Well, I've been on this board a long time, and when I feel like I need to speak up, I'm gonna speak
So
up,
many people
because
don't.
that's what we were put
If we
for.
didn't voice our opinions, then we wouldn't be doing our jobs. So thank you for what you do and appreciate it. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got two questions. Number one, I'm not sure if it's a legal issue. I think it's more of a moral issue. And I'll be honest, I'm actually agreeing with you. I wasn't here to be able to make a vote because I was in Austin, Texas, but I will say this, I actually completely agree with you. Now, with that being said, it is a moral issue for me, not a legal issue. So we can't make that decision, for everybody, but I
We can't make everybody's moral issues decide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I have a second question. Why, or can I get some clarification on why we're losing this detail? Because I've been at every single one of these meetings, and I think I missed it. What occurred that we're losing this
Well,
detail?
what, Officer Tim Howard, cuts the grass for the old elementary school, the school board office, and he cuts the grass at another school, and now they've asked him to take on a third school. And he says he just won't have time to come here.
So doesn't Sheriff have no work crew that cut the grass beside the house?
Well, they don't cut during hours here. They can't. That's what.
I mean, if we want Sheriff to cut the grass, he can have another work crew that's gonna cut the grass here beside the house. He's not the only one on the crew, correct?
I don't know if he has any other crews that work after hours. Maybe he does, I don't know. But I know that, they can't come during the regular business hours and cut our grass.
Could we ask for a follow-up on that?
Sure.
If there's a follow-up on that.
So what's the reason they're not gonna cut the grass anymore, because or work out here anymore? Is it because they're tired of the BS, or is it because he's taking on other jobs? Because I'm confused on that one.
I don't know. I've heard both ways. You'd have to ask them.
I mean, it's just addressed to Judy that because of the mess with the tobacco, they're not gonna do it anymore, but now it's because it's.
I would suggest you ask them, ask the sheriff or ask the officer.
So they've been taking care of the grounds as far as that.
They've been taking care of everything. They did this floor.
I know.
I get the call,
I'm
yes.
not sure they did the grounds. But if they're not gonna do that, we need to look into it.
Right, we do.
With somebody else.
That's what we do. It's just grass grows.
And I just wanted to make a point also. I specifically asked, was it illegal prior to the vote last time? And Ben said no.
Okay.
Maybe, I remember
I
that.
don't remember it, but that's good if you do, and you
It's
ask.
not the funds are allocated. I actually did call in and ask about this specifically. It's how the funds are allocated. It's not a legal issue, again, it's a moral issue. And I fully understand where you're going with this now. I do. And if I were here, I would have voted with you. But with that being said, it's a moral issue, not a legal issue.
Well, and again, I've never done tobacco, I don't know. Those guys work hard and they give them just enough tobacco, they can't take it back in with them. But if the board doesn't want me to give them tobacco, I'll be happy not to.
But they already voted on it.
But I mean, we got
Y'all
on
voted,
in.
so it's fine.
It's already voted and approved, so it's a done issue, so we'll move forward from that. Thank y'all all for your comments and support or non-support, whichever. Because it takes all the, yes, ma'am.
I really do believe, and I'm sorry for what I said to you, okay? I really do believe that we should be able to voice our opinion without being attacked. It's your opinion, that's why you have a diverse board, we're all from different backgrounds, you know, so you should be able to give your opinion without being attacked.
Absolutely, I agree with you a
I
hundred
attacked you
percent.
by saying you were being nitpicky, you attacked me, so we need to do better, we really do.
Okay, very good, thank you. That's right. Thank you, Ms. Judy, and we'll move forward from that. Director's update.
Did we approve this?
Oh, we didn't have a motion, did we? For anything? Ms. Judy just brought up about the.
I'm making a motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
Oh, yeah, we missed that?
Second.
Okay.
One thing on the,
Got a motion? Go ahead, I'm
No,
sorry.
you got.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanna, what's this on the very back page about?
All that.
that's gonna be discussed.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the financial report. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ken. Okay, all in favor saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Okay, financial report approved. Okay, Johnny, you have something now?
Well, I was just asking about the.
We'll get to that. Joe,
All right, director's report, things have moved around a little on here for me, but the infrastructure work's going on at Busy Bee, or the Project Gateway property, has anybody been by there to see that? They got it rolling, so, happy to see that.
Isn't that the roads they've got,
Yeah,
they're starting with it, so.
they're gonna go back 1,000 feet, there's gonna be a roundabout for the semis to turn in.
Well, I seen the excavators the far back.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna go that far back. Yeah. Okay, let's see, Pro's expansion, that was a couple of weeks ago. Did you come, no? We had a really good turnout for that, it was a good event, we had, the number 2 guy for Florida Commerce was here. Just a great event, they put on a good luncheon, Pro did, and they had their employees in here. They went back to work, and then we talked. Those same 2 county commissioners, Commissioners Wilmer Stafford and Wade Ellenberg showed up for that, and they got a tour of the place and the expansion that we've done, and very impressed with, along with several others. So that turned out very good. It was just a good event. It was well, thanks to the newspaper. It was good in there. So we're just happy. They're gonna add about 12 more employees here, at Pros here pretty quick, and then they're gonna keep adding until they get at least another 30 employees there. So everything's rolling with that. Attended the Florida Power and Light Symposium, Economic Symposium, last week or the week before, and, again, Rhonda was able to make it. She's the treasurer, Rhonda Burley, she's the treasurer for Opportunity Florida, and, it's just, I would recommend, we offered it to anybody who wanted to go in the future. I'd say go if you can. There's a whole lot to learn about economic development in our area. And again, we had, Wilbur Stafford and Wade Ellenberg went to that. And I got to spend some time with them and introduce them to a lot of people. And, just was just happy to see that going like it was. Then we had Florida's Great Northwest Leadership Class 4 in here last week. I think you were in Class 3? Yeah. And there's about 25 people in it, and we talked to them about what we do in Holmes County, how we do our economic development, and then Pros came in, and then we did a tour of Pros, and just a really good event. And then also last week we had our auditors, two auditors from Florida Riggs Ingram were here, and they stayed till about 4:30, and we had everything ready to go for them, and was, happy that they didn't have any curveballs thrown at us that we know of, so everything looked good, and we'll continue on with that. They'll have it done by the end of March, and then hopefully they can come at the April meeting and report to everybody. The last thing that I had was page 12. We had voted to get an appraisal on the recycling property, and we got Brown Reef Associates out of Jackson County to come, and they looked it over. They didn't include any of the fixed equipment that's in there, which is a lot, and I don't know how that would be looked at, but they came up with a value of $495,000. We've had that property for a long time. There was an original lease when they got a grant to build that building in 1993, and in that lease, it was a 5-year lease that they could continue to do if they would renew a lease before it expired. I believe they did one lease after that, and there's never been a lease done. So there's no paperwork between us and the county on that piece of property. And my worry is they came to us last year about wanting us to approve for them to get tires on that property. And they ended up not doing it. But my worry is any kind of environmental hazard that goes on that property, anytime in the past to now. I know they have insurance on the building, but you know, if something comes up and somebody gets hurt out there, or either it's found out that they have mosquito control there, or some kind of chemicals get into the ground and it becomes a lawsuit, I don't think they would only list the county commissioners. I think we have some risk in that because we are the owners of the property. So whatever we decide to do with that, I made some possible options, and again, it's whatever the board votes to do. Maybe offer to trade the recycling property for the old Gulf buildings across the street from the fire station. We could remodel that and either lease it out, or we could remodel that, move in there, and lease out our space up here. We could look at any of the other property that the county owns. The county owns property that were from surrendered tax payments where taxes were not paid. That would be something we could look at. And another thing I thought we should probably look at is negotiate for clarity on how our board members are selected by the BOCC. This last round, they selected some good people to be on this board, but we had absolutely no say-so in it, and we probably should have. I think it should come as a recommendation from us who sits on this board, and that kind of language could probably be negotiated in getting that property out of our hands to the county's hands. But it's up to what the...
Why would you want to use that property as leverage against the statute of forms? The statute said they shall appoint. It don't say they recommend.
Well, they shall appoint us, but can they just appoint whoever they want to?
Yes, sir.
Well, they can, but can we have some kind of language in place that says that we have any say-so on it?
I thought we did in the bylaws.
Well, we do in our bylaws.
We didn't?
Why would you want that? Explain that.
Because, well, you're sitting on this board and you got a really good board going, and then 3 people go off this board. Do you want to have a say on, you want young, or you not just young, or you want people that want to do what's best for the county, or you want to rely on them just picking somebody to be on here? If it was me and I was on this board, and I was on this board for a while, I think that this board should have a say in who comes on this board.
I actually don't.
And that's fine if you don't. That is fine. I mean,
I make a motion, we donate that, the property to the county. We don't need it.
Well-
We don't make it, no, I'm not through, Mr. Executive Director. I'm a board member, you're not. My motion is, we donate it to the county, because we're not making any money off of it. The sheriff's fire range is there. The license center's there, the county uses it. We have no use of that property, make no income. We do this good faith measure, donate it to the Board of County Commission.
That's because we've been letting the county use it
For years, it don't,
Motion on the floor to donate the property to the county.
I say,
There's a second by Ms. Judy. Any discussion?
May I say something, Mr. Chairman?
Okay.
Why don't we just donate this to them, and And why don't we donate interstate property to them? And why don't we donate extreme boats to them? And why don't we donate Weather King to them?
Where are you going?
Well, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I mean, it's like, we are a business.
You're not a board member, you work for us, you've got your place.
And I have my place, but you know what? My job is to look out for this organization. And if we're gonna give it away, are we really looking out for our organization, or are we just giving it away? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying if we wanna give it away, why don't we just give it all away?
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Open for discussion. As chairman, I usually don't say a whole lot, but I'd like to say something on this one, if the board is okay with it. I don't think we should give it away, my opinion on it, we call it duty, because it does belong to us. It is a valuable piece of property. We are charged with bringing jobs, we are charged with buying, selling, and improving the county. And why would we want to give away a valuable piece of property? Why wouldn't we want to trade it for another valuable piece that the county has? If we traded this for the old Gulf Power Building, it's worth less than this is. It'd be giving them a big advantage over what they're getting for what they're getting, and we'd have another piece of property that would actually be a better fit to use or to sell than what this piece is. And the county would have the property. The sheriff built the firing range there knowing that we owned it. And we're not trying to take that away, and we never try to do that. But he knew that because I went out there with him looking to see where they were gonna build the firing range. And he knew that it belonged to the development commission. But anyway, we're not trying to take any of that away. We're trying to improve on the property we own that we can do something with, because we don't want to sell this out from under the county. They're out there using it, but if we could trade it to them and have them take ownership, they would be in charge of it, they would be insuring it, and also, we would have a piece of property that we could use for a better use. Now, that's just my opinion, and my opinion.
Very good.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Do we have an appraisal on this golf property?
No.
No? So obviously before you can do anything, you get an appraisal on that, right?
Well, or they may do it, you know, if we made the offer to trade them, it would really be on them to see if what the value is, if we already know that there's enough value there for us to trade.
I mean, we're setting a loss either way, correct?
Well,
According to the value of the property, it's sold right beside it.
yeah,
Yes.
it sold for $230,000 a few years ago, the property right beside, which was a little more land. And they tore the building, the old house down to build that parts building.
Question,
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
No, I was saying, you know, economic development, you look at the, like you bragged about the Great Northwest, everything, I mean, economic development is the intentional practice of improving communities' economic well-being and quality of life. Includes a broad range of activities to attract, create, retain jobs, foster and pro-growth tax base, boost the economy. Nowhere in the saying us force trading with the county and trying to hold up their head fixed property. I mean, we've lost our way. We're not so
Hold
more.
it over your head now.
Well, I mean, that's where our tech directors and alluding to. I mean, this board has lost its direction. We're economic development for the county. I don't understand where us
That's
four
what I was
trade.
saying, we're not really,
Yeah.
real estate brokers.
We've lost, that board has lost its way.
Agree with you that it's lost its way, and it's trying to act like Washington DC. Get here and argue and fuss instead of doing what we're charged to do. Anytime that we can't come to an agreement on something, that all we're gonna do is argue about it, it's just like Washington do it, holding everybody hostage. Now, why do we wanna do that? And I'm sorry, I'm the chairman, I shouldn't be saying a lot, but just a minute. I don't understand where you're coming from when you don't think it's a good idea to trade. I mean, if you don't want to, I understand that you don't want to, but why are you trying to make it be just a really evil thing? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanna say that one day, it may not be the school, but we may consider selling this. If we had that, we could have our office there for the future development commission at the Gulf Power.
Wow, I think you want something centralized.
We come out for this,
I understand, yes.
yeah, 'cause we had it at the chamber before, so, you know, for the office, for just us, you know, whoever's on the board at that time. And the director, at who, won't be Joe, but whoever, at that time, so think about the future, so I think it's, a good idea to trade. I don't know about all the other stuff, I think that has to be in your bylaws, as far as the board members, getting on used to the way it was done, as the commissioner recommended and the board voted on it, but I don't know what happened to that.
But anyway, okay, you had,
I know.
okay, Jeremy, you had some more, Brian,
I'm kind of torn on both sides of it. So I do want, part of me says, hey, we need to figure it out the county, donations, whatever. The other side of me is saying, doing that, we're basically giving them $500,000. And why not make that, proposal for the trade, even if it's half the value? Then we're still, in essence, donating half of that amount of money. You know what I mean? So
And it's not costing the taxpayers.
they're benefiting from it, and we're benefiting from it, because that property out there, we're gonna be able to do nothing with it. And we're washing our hands of it, right? I mean, that's just my opinion. Everybody has one, right? So that's just my 2 cents on it.
okay,
Chairman, if I could.
yes, sir.
See, we get no money from the county, and I say if we vote to give it to them, I'm fine with that. If we vote to, trade with them, I'm fine with that. But it's like this, if we didn't have this income, or we didn't build the Extreme Boat building and build it, and we didn't build the Weather King building, and we get no resources from anywhere, this has got to be run somewhat like a business. But I'm saying, we absolutely work with the county on a lot of things. We voted to pay the gap on that travel to the symposium. I'm good with working with the county, but we've got to treat this like a business if we're gonna have to create our own income.
Yeah, but we have to get agreement on with the county about the secretary position you did.
I don't think it's went before the county.
No,
It's required by them to pay it.
It's supposedly required by the state for them to do that.
Okay, so there is money coming in from the county.
No, we haven't had a secretary since August.
But it will, I'm sorry, but it will be.
If they choose to give it to us. Because they are required to do it, but they haven't done it in the past to fund her full position. I say her because we've always had a lady.
Probably.
But we always, to get a person to come and do the job, we had to supplement the amount that was paid to the administrative assistant to get a quality person. They would pay a minimum.
Right.
And the biggest thing they do is retirement insurance. Am I correct?
Yeah, they do.
Mr. Wills, let him say it just for a minute. Yes, sir.
So, just a few moments ago, there was conversation about the recycle center property and potential liability from chemicals getting into the ground and hazardous materials and everything. Well, we got the firing range down there. And firing ranges require lead accountability and lead recovery when it hits a certain level. And that is tracked by the number of rounds of ammunition that are fired in that burn. So who's tracking the lead accountability? And when it comes time to clean up the lead, who's responsible for it? Is it going to be the county or is it going to be you? Because just like you said a few minutes ago, if there was a contamination in the soil, you as owners of the property would be required and responsible or held responsible. So you're kind of going in, both directions here, wanting the county to be responsible for any contaminants, but you don't want to give the county the property to get that liability off of you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the comments.
I'm glad I was done.
All right, anybody
You
else?
made a point to make sure I was done.
I want to
Thank
make
you.
a motion that Joe asked.
You got a motion on the floor.
I didn't hear it,
Yeah,
sorry,
we're in
didn't
discussion.
hear it, so much going on.
Yeah, we're in discussion now. Any more discussion on Jerry's motion?
What was Jeremy's motion?
See, was there a second? Who seconded it? Ms. Judy did. Okay, Ms. Judy seconded the motion. Any further discussion on Jerry's motion?
Just
Jeremy,
repeat the
repeat
motion.
your motion if you don't mind.
We donate the recycling property to the county.
Okay, Jeremy's motion is to donate the recycling property that's worth $495,000 to the county. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Maybe we should raise hands.
See a show of hands. Yeah. Okay, motion fails. Jeremy and Miss Judy voted no, all others voted yes. Okay, thank y'all very much. All right, that's.
So we voted yes.
Opposite.
Opposite. We voted got it.
I'm sorry.
It was opposite, you're fine.
Miss
They
Judy-
voted yes.
Well, they voted against it.
Yes.
Just said it wrong, how about that?
Mr. Chairman,
There's one I know what to say. Yes, sir.
So in order to go ahead and clean up this matter, I propose that we offer a trade to the commissioner to trade that property for Bill property.
Okay. So you're making a motion to approach the county to trade the property.
Yes, to give them the opportunity if they so.
Brian, you're seconding that?
Well, can we say it to where that, or, I mean, just a property in general versus just that one, because if they're not willing to do that one, well, what about this one, or, you know,
I agree.
a trade of some sort, I guess.
Just, you know, and we don't have to benefit all the way, but I mean, you know.
And we have to vote to approve anyway.
At this point, aren't we talking about specific properties?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I agree that maybe not a specific piece, but to amend it to a.
And the reason I said that is we're talking about the recycling center versus the Gulf Power Building, and the recycling center is the piece to trade, so y'all are saying maybe trade that not just for the Gulf Power Building, but maybe something else.
Well, I'm saying, if they say, and I'm not trying to mess with his motion here, my comment was, if they say no to that proposal, is there another one that we could, come to an agreement?
Offer them this piece of property for another piece?
If they don't go along with
Well,
it, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Mr. Sutton's motion is to offer the county the recycling property for the Gulf Power Building property or other property. Is that correct? And Brian, second. Okay, any discussion on that?
anybody in the Gulf Power Building?
Yeah.
There.
They were,
Where are they gonna go?
they were in the chamber building. And then when the county acquired that building, they moved down there. I guess they could go back to the chamber because the county owns it also.
Yeah, why not here?
You know. But anyway, any further discussion on that?
Question.
Okay, yes, sir. Call for the question. All in favor of approaching the county to trade recycling center property for the Gulf Power Building property or other property?
Correct.
All in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Motion carried. And do you specify that Joe approach them?
That our representative is.
Be sure.
And it's okay if I use our attorney to get involved with it as well.
Okay. All right, we've got that behind us.
That's all I have for the director's report.
Okay, the director. Mr. Ben's not here, so we can't get him off that day.
If we could, in that I handed out the second time, the last page is what he wrote. It was either to me last night or this morning, and what he's kind of got a timeline on there. He's got the questions that might need to be asked. The question is for the board to establish a salary range. They want to include in the job posting, and for the board to establish a timeline. And his suggested timeline would be posting to remain open through April 30th with a plan to hold a special meeting in May to interview the applicants that are selected for an interview, so that an applicant could be recommended for hiring at the regular May meeting with a plan to start working mid to late June, allowing for some transition. And he said he put this together by reviewing, postings from other areas. He says it's a little lengthy, we can take away from it, add to it, whatever y'all need to do.
So the minimum qualifications, he's got that highlighted on here, bachelor's degree or blank years of work experience. Do we ever come up with something?
This was sent out to everybody, you know, I can look and see when it was, it's towards the end of February. And, I believe he left that blank for a reason for us to fill in, for the board to fill in.
Well, I feel like that this application has just way too much verbiage in it. I think that, I mean, I know we've got to get it out there, what they've got to do, but I feel like there's some of this stuff that we could wait and do once we determine who we're gonna interview.
No, absolutely not. I actually completely disagree with that. I think you want this as nitpicky as you can get. Cover all
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of this on here.
Yeah, this is something you want because the people that are coming into this position.
But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of the stuff that's in here that it's being handled by the attorney, it's not being handled by the judge.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But we
when
want
a
that.
person reads this, I mean, I feel like I'd be overwhelmed and think, well, have I gotta know all this?
Well, that also leads to, if a person reads all that, they've got to know what they're getting.
Leave the expectations
Yeah.
there. Here's the expectations. I'm gonna say, out of all my workers, I can tell you mine's actually longer than this, and they do a whole lot of less responsibilities. So I think this is great.
Not necessarily end up doing all that, but kind of want.
The one
So,
thing.
let me ask you something,
Yeah,
Decide if
Jeremy.
we want to be.
Are we allowed
Yeah, I think we need some
to,
agency.
I don't know, I'm asking you because I know you know, if somebody we think would be a good fit to say, hey, this is open, you go out there and talk, where do they go? I mean, are we even allowed to say
Yeah, we're
that?
not allowed to tell somebody to apply for it. It's a public job, they tell them to apply for the attorney, however they got the address here. Anybody there?
How many applications have you received so far?
I don't perceive them turning to us.
Oh.
We haven't advertised.
We haven't
We haven't advertised.
But I have heard that some have already turned it into the attorney.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, I guess we can vote on it, ratify it, number one, advertise it, put it out to vote.
And that's what he's saying today, I think, is.
I would say on the bachelor's degree or 4 years experience.
For us to decide.
Well, then, if you look at, on the next page, preferred qualifications actually says 5 years of progressively responsible experience in economic development, business, recruitment, and community. So why not just make that 5 years as well?
I'm good.
That's what I was.
Make what, say that again?
Or a bachelor's degree or 5 years of work experience, or similar
I got a
experience.
bachelor's degree or 5 years.
Well, that being said, 40,000 is pretty low to advertise for. I mean, you can be a deputy sheriff with 9 months voted at 47 star. I mean, you ask somebody with a bachelor's degree at $40,000, it's a.
We find out if they're interested or not.
That's.
Well, it's 40%,
Yeah.
That's where I guess the negotiation part comes in.
Yeah, I mean,
Depending on
you
the
don't,
experience.
yeah, you want to draw, try to draw so.
Yeah, I mean, who's going?
That's kind of the,
Maybe a retired individual who is
No,
looking
we
for
want
that.
that, we want somebody here that knows what to do.
Somebody at $150,000 to sit behind the desk and greet everybody that come in, I've seen that already. Okay, now, we've had one suggestion.
Yeah, can I make another? I'm sorry. Joe, how many hours of work are you putting in, you think, a week?
I wouldn't put on here the hours, I'll probably put it close to 60.
That's what I figured. So you're asking someone to work almost 60 hours for 45, 40, 60 with a 4-year degree?
I would say 50 to 70 range would be.
I agree with you.
Well, I personally wouldn't do it for that amount of money, but maybe, somebody that's retired, looking for a little side job and say, hey, look, I'm not gonna kill myself working 60 hours. The reason I ask that is you're really looking for either someone who's retired or someone who has a second income. My accurate in saying that? Everybody else? And that might be a good thing, we can put in experience, right? So somebody who maybe already has a business that is kind of back
don't know, I just know if you look at what the other counties, you probably should look at what the other counties are paying. If you wanna get somebody full-time, that this is their only job, and that's not even gonna be, probably be close.
Have we done a pay set of the surrounding counties?
I don't know.
And we're gonna be asking them to manage this property on the side.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, it's a full-time
Yeah,
job.
you're asking a lot of an individual, so I respect you, you know.
Is that in the county? Is that in this county?
I ain't come outside of here no more than I was here.
We want just somebody figurehead, or we want somebody actively out
So
there.
I guess my question, of the board, and again, I've obviously been in a lot of these meetings, to watch and witness kind of what's occurred. There's also, they're gonna have to deal with these meetings. So, I think 40 to 60, I can tell you right now, if I were walking in here, there's absolutely no way I would take this for 40 to 60. I'd be walking out of here just for the stress alone. So I do ask that somebody take a look at that. And we kind of investigate whether that's a reasonable amount to pay somebody for 60 hours of work, what's coming in here and dealing with the stress of these meetings, just going out there and dealing with the stress of having to deal with everybody. I don't think that's a reasonable income for somebody to take this. I don't think 60 hours a week, that's not even minimum wage, is it? No.
It's not, but I don't know how much
But they'll
money
work.
we got either, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's sad, we're down.
Sounds like we gotta recruit some businesses, guys, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So if we go strictly on what our budget allows, then we might have to set our expectations on what we get for the Lord.
And that's why, is it something somebody could do part-time? No. Let's be honest, it's not. So 40 to 60, I do think that needs to be,
Something you could think about is having the true economic development person and having a maintenance person to handle the other stuff. Maintenance people tend to make less, and just a thought.
and so your last day, if you want me asking, was that 30 April?
Well, the way he's got it written here, I originally said, I'll stay till June 30th, if that's what we need to do, I'll do it.
I think we need to.
But if we end the process of cutting out the job notification, April 30th, in May, early May, wants to have a special meeting so that we can go over the applicants and then be ready at our main meeting, and then give 1 month to the interface with the judge so that they can get them up to speed.
Well, I've got a question. In the past, when we started to hire someone, we had a committee that actually interviewed all the applicants and reduced it down to 2 or 3 if we had several, rather than having, deal with all of them at one time. Is that something that y'all would entertain?
That got some bad situation last time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that got some bad situation last time.
I remember talking, are you saying we nominate? Are you saying, like, we find a nominee and then those 2 people nominate to meet with that person separately? Or, because
They meet with them separately, but not privately.
well, I'm saying, but, because that would
Yeah,
be.
like if we had 4 people to interview the people that applying for the job according to what we say we want, and narrow them down by qualifications, personality, or whatever. If there's 5, narrow them down to 2, and then have 2 come in to the full board for interview.
Well, that's what
And then the decision be made from there, not sit here all day with 5 people trying to bring them in one at a time and interview them.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the problem is like, if we have Mr. Katz for this nominating committee, we can't discuss this nominee outside of the board, correct?
The whole purpose of the attorney handling, where he would group them up, he'd send them out to us, and he could communicate.
So he's gonna decide who,
Well, he makes a
He
recommendation.
can make recommendations for us.
he's gonna decide who to recommend for our ED, huh?
No, I
Well,
think
he
he needs
just
to bring them all
recommended
to
the top
us.
3 or something.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
needs to bring them all to us,
I just
because
asked him.
it does not need to be his decision.
Well, I mean, he can look at him and say, well, that ain't got a 4-year degree, that don't make it, so that's an
You
out.
still need to interview.
It's like the scoring system for RFQ, right? It's the same basic process. You have him kind of score your applicants based upon his knowledge of what he currently sees in the resume. He's not
not interviewing him. He's doing it based off the resume, and then he sends that to the entire board. The board then has him come through here in the order in which he's scored. Does that make sense?
That's fine. I just wanted to know what the board wanted to do, because I know what we've done in the past and what
I
we
think
want
that's
to
the way
do in
to
the
keep
future.
us out of legal issues.
Is now, sir?
I think that's the only way it's gonna keep you out of legal issues.
How so?
Well, if you have a committee and there's gonna be an opportunity for them to discuss that behind open.
You want now for this board to discuss also.
I don't, it's gonna be an open meeting.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about, you're talking about if you have a committee and they discuss it, you know, between themselves, if that's violation, and it is, of course. But if we discuss it among ourselves as a
You're making
group.
sense.
Okay, never mind.
I just think it eliminates the,
How do we want to do it? I understand your recommendation, how we want to handle it.
I make a motion for the attorney to bring the applicants to us, and then we vote on it.
All of them, all of them.
Yes.
I second that.
Okay, have a motion by Brian, second by Garrett, to the attorney take the applications,
And then we discuss it as a.
evaluate them, and bring them all to us to interview according to his evaluation.
Can we do that whenever we do it without the public, or do we have to do it in the
Only in
public?
executive session.
No, we can't do it in executive session.
Okay. Can I
I
ask?
guess not, Jeremy said we could. So we
We need
can't.
to ask Ben to make sure.
100% gonna be in the public, 100%.
Can I ask for
Yes, ma'am.
clarification on that motion? That was, to have the attorney bring all applications to the board for review, is that correct?
Well, after he vetted them, I'm sure
He
he.
pre-screens them
Yeah, I mean.
and ranks them.
Well, I mean, obviously, if they don't have a bachelor's degree or 5 years experience, it's not qualified.
Okay, that's the next thing.
All
is
qualifying.
You asked.
I want them all, I wanna see them all.
Okay.
You asked about, I put 5 years in the deal.
How many people is gonna apply? Come on. Are y'all- who?
Well, you had three already without your posting.
That's what I wonder, is if it's not posted yet, is it gonna be 300 applicants, you know,
No.
all over the state?
We've never had that. We've had
I
maybe
mean, if the
three.
board sees fit to use all applicants, I don't mind, rescinding my motion, so.
But what you're saying
I want
is
to see them all.
everybody that applies for it.
Yeah, I want to see them all. What if you, okay, I'm gonna give you a name here. She has a degree, but if somebody like a Mary Gavin applied, but didn't have a degree, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that lady's got some dang experience, but she's got more than 5 years. She's got a lot of experience, but I'm just saying, just say if they didn't have a degree. Sometimes, I have a degree, but
Well, I
I don't
think
mean to think.
it's one or the other. I mean,
Sometimes
it's
a degree or
and
5
or.
years, yeah, experience.
Okay, so we have everybody's talking about the 5-year thing now. Says the minimum qualifications, it's bachelor's degree or blank. And Garrett just threw out the 5 years, and is that what we want to put there? We need to verify that.
Yeah, and for clarification, I'm only doing that because it's on the following page.
Well, I know it is over there talking about 5 years, it's blank, it's left here.
Yeah, the next page is very common, 5 years.
Yeah, we got to vote on the motion
We got a
first.
motion.
I know, I'm just asking questions, I'm discussing, Jeremy. I mean, I may not be supposed to discuss, but I'm the chairman, but I am.
Well, we voted on advertising, then we're on the, we're making our application.
Well, we're advertising with the qualifications, and Garrett just said 5 years, put in this blank here, and we didn't talk about that. I mean, it's over here on the page, but Ben left this blank for a reason.
His motion was to advertise, it wasn't.
No,
Qualification?
it was for the, some attorney to bring.
Yeah, did it say for us to go to qualifications before we advertise it? Okay, I thought that's what I heard.
But I think,
Just a minute, we'll revisit that. All right, give us your motion.
my motion is for the attorney to bring us qualified, or all of the qualified applicants.
So the applicant apply to the attorney's office, and he brings the qualified applicants to us.
Yes.
Okay, there was a second, Garrett?
Yes, sir.
Is that
Okay.
qualified or all applicants?
All qualified. So if they don't meet either one of the criteria,
Yeah, there's no need to send them if they don't meet the criteria.
Okay, bring all applicants that meet the criteria to the board, the attorney to bring all applicants, Garrett seconded that motion. All right, any further discussion?
I just think you need all applicants, but to keep ourselves out of trouble personally.
Okay. Thank you for your
My
opinion.
opinion.
Okay, Okay,
Sorry, but the attorney's the one screening it. I would think if anybody would understand what the legal ramifications are, it'd be the attorney. So respectfully, I'm gonna curtail it, like, you handle it. Does that make sense? That's my opinion.
good, good. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the attorney receiving all applicants, then bringing all the applicants to the board? Qualified applicants to the board. Good, qualified. Okay, all in favor saying aye? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Motion carried. All right.
Could I add something on the salary? What if you left the 40 on the bottom end and you left the top end open? 'Cause you could have a person that joined the military at 18, they did their 20 years, and while they were in the military, they got their 4-year degree, and then they worked in something related to this, and they're retired, but they're looking for this job. They might will take it at a lower rate, something like that. They could be 38 years old and be looking for this job.
That is a good point.
And then we agree to give them benefits. Jeremy?
Yeah, I don't know if we were in that already.
Wouldn't that be?
I thought we did, I don't remember.
I just know that's one of the questions that Ben needs is the salary range, so if we could figure that out today.
All right, opinion, salary range, 40,000 to open end or 7 out?
I don't know what we can afford, so
That would be determined with the applicant, wouldn't it? Like,
no, I mean, on our budget, what
I
can we
mean, if
afford?
you really wanna get down to it and hold them, you know, leave it open-ended, but you'd also have to have some kind of, evaluation process to go through to, you know, so it should be a little more in-depth. I mean, we can put this on this part, but we would have to not leave it alone and get in-depth on how.
what's your number? What's your number?
Well, there's not, I'm good with leaving it open-ended, I'm just saying we need an evaluation process to get to that.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion that we advertise at 50 to 70,000. Also put in their bachelor's degree or 5 years experience.
That's fair. That justifies and qualifies for 5
50
years.
to 70%, I'll
Okay.
say that.
I have a motion by Jeremy, 50,000 to 70,000 with a bachelor's degree and 5 years?
Or
5 years. Bachelor's degree or 5 years, as written here. Seconded by Ms. Rhonda South. Okay, any discussion on that?
One thing I want to discuss, how's he gonna advertise? He gonna run it through the county's website and Indeed and different things, open it up to a full
As he
search?
said, I haven't heard, I guess, usual outlets as an attorney would do.
LinkedIn would be good.
Yeah, I'd like to see it on Indeed, LinkedIn, and the county advertise it through their county website.
Okay, well, give us a list and we'll pass it to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, I'll back up, I'll amend that motion. So we advertise it at 50 to 70,000 with a bachelor's degree or 5 years work experience. And be advertised on the Board of County Commissioners website, Indeed, and LinkedIn.
Can we do that on the board of conversation?
Yes, ma'am. They put it on their board.
Paul Dell was on LinkedIn.
Indeed.
Indeed.
We want it on our website too.
And our website and Facebook.
Can I ask one more thing in regards to that? Is it normal to have no pre-employment drug screening?
I think it should have this.
I would agree. I think with the county,
Henry,
we actually, I literally just looked at her, did you get one? She said,
I think, yeah, I think it's been there for.
yeah, why would that be? Was that discussed
I don't think we got it back yet.
Okay, yeah, I would love for there to be a pre-employment drug screening if that's the possibility.
If we run a job through the county, give them benefits, they require that.
Right.
Like they do with the legal, like they do our administrative system.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, you just said run it through the county?
No, if you were to go with the county for your, retirement, or.
If you wanna give them retirement, if they won't take retirement, we'll have to send the county with a pass due on it, like we do any other. Like I do order management, like anything else, we just write them a check and they pay the retirement thing, we offer them a pension.
So that need to be in the benefits, wouldn't it, or not? I mean, that's not anything that's said yet.
Yeah, there's no better discussion in here.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we got a motion we need to dispose of, and then we can go with the other. Jeremy made a motion to advertise it at $50,000 to $70,000 per year with a bachelor's degree or 5 years work experience, and to advertise it on the HCDC website, DOCC website, LinkedIn, Indeed, and Facebook. And Ms. Rhonda seconded that. Okay, any further discussion?
This is just salary.
Yeah, just one thing, if at some point we needed to amend that salary cap, we could do that, right?
Yeah.
Or get it approved.
As long as we can do that.
Okay.
Is
All
it
right,
gonna be advertised in the papers?
Jeremy said no, so I
I
got.
don't care if they do, I didn't do my most, I don't care if they do.
You reach more people with Indeed than you would this way.
Okay, you, Ms. Rhonda, so, further down.
Have any type of probationary period or like 90 days in or whatever, we're gonna review this to.
It should be.
Have anything like that?
I don't see it in here, I don't think.
I think we should.
I think we should.
I think so
Because
too.
remember the one, we had,
Yep, I do remember that. I don't remember seeing anything about a probationary now. So, anyway, we got a motion on the floor.
it's just salary.
The salary advertised.
About the salary and where it should be advertised, okay? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. All right, now, we're talking about, in the requirements or the job titles, to have a 90-day probationary period.
Or whatever the commission would desire, but I think there should be a probationary period there.
Okay, do we need to put a number on it?
Would you say 90 days?
Yeah, 90 days is reasonable.
That's what I always used to be, is 90 days.
So we included in that motion, no pre-employment drug screening, it is
Yes,
required.
yes.
So
So I'll
make
make
it-
a motion that we have a 90-day probationary period along with a pre-drug screen
And I think you should be fingerprinted.
and background check.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
And where you get some time unless it's for something on the other terrible.
It wouldn't look
Happens.
good.
And I think that's just protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Rhonda Burley, the motion is a 90-day probationary period, drug screen, and a background check. Do I hear a second? Ms. Rhonda, second. Okay, any discussion on that?
You're gonna have to run through the county then if you do that. You're gonna ask for a drug screen and background check. They're equipped to do that. I mean, we're not equipped to do fingerprints. I mean, we're gonna.
You can pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it now.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of a 90-day probationary period, drug screen, and background check, by saying aye? Aye. All opposed, like sign? Motion carries. All right, anything else on the application process? Everybody feel good as we've covered everything? Yes, sir? Yeah, we've covered everything on that. Has to do with the attorney and the attorney's report. We've covered everything. Okay, we've got one other thing that I had
you guys aware of it. So if you guys want me to do it immediately, that's fine, or I can stay to the end of next month, so.
Please stay till the end of next month.
Yeah.
Well, that's
We
okay.
hate to see you go.
Well, it's,
We understand. I do.
I'm catching on both ends, every Tuesday I'm here, so. Thanks so much, you and I today, right?
Would afternoon meeting be better for your job?
I don't know, because they stretched me out like last week, there was 3 days I was in Auburn, out of the blues, you know? So Pensacola, Mobile, Birmingham, Tampa, I mean, they'll tell me on Monday, hey, go to Auburn for 3 days, or, you know, so.
And y'all got the business, I'm sure.
And owning my own business is very time consuming, and it's just becoming too much, and I mean, and part of it is also, I don't mind saying, I think I've probably told some of you before too, is this board has lost its ways, so that's kind of the other part that's just making my decision a whole lot easier.
I agree 100%.
So,
Really, really thank you for your service.
You will be missed.
Proud to have you here.
well, I'm glad to have been a part of
And
it.
would love to see you stay, but I understand why you can't, and I hope everybody else does too. But you've been an asset, good board member. We'll miss you.
Well, I appreciate that. With that being said, I do need to go already.
Okay. Well,
I was supposed to be in Dothan at 2 o'clock. so
Okay.
if you mind, excuse me, I'll step out.
thank you, Brian. All right. With that being said, I don't guess we need an executive session, so, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Cap, second.
Second, let me have this second.
You got it. Get out of here.